How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another video of 11 Bow Hunter. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys my process and what I use to go from a blank shaft to a fully built arrow that I'm going to be using for the 2022 hunting season. So if you guys are interested in how I go about this, and if you're interested on learning how to do it yourself, stay tuned. Let's hop right in. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our bare shafts. Now I've got a D-cut arrow saw. I know some of you at home, if you guys don't have your own personal archery shop, you guys will not have this, and that's okay. You can just go to a shop and have them cut your arrows. I went ahead and bought one of these myself because I'm going to be, I do a lot of arrow building and I kind of want to get more into it, so I bought my own. A few things with this one that is kind of weird is that these really don't line up to their actual length. So if I put it at 27, and we'll grab the measuring tape. So the throat of my nock, it's got a, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but on the end down here, it's got micro adjustments. So you can actually screw this end barrel in and out, and it moves it maybe 1/4 of an inch back and forth, so you can like fine tune. But so 27, we'll go from here out, we're at 26 5/8 to the cutting blade. And this is actually all the way back, so I can't move that any farther that way. I wonder if it's from the edge. Let's see. So we'll go from the inside . 27 7/8 or 26 7/8. There's 27. So I wonder if, is that back to 28? It's going to be dead on 28. Ever so slightly off. But if you use an arrow saw and you're a beginner, or even if you're advanced, just make sure you're adjusted where you need to be. So I'm cutting my arrows to 27.5. I'll just reconfirm with my own arrows, for the arrows that I cut before. And this is the beauty of having your own arrow saw. And we'll go right there. So I know I'm in an enclosed room and there's going to be carbon dust that kicks off this. I'm not worried about it. And one thing, you don't want to cut through. So you don't want to cut through a lot of your arrow. You just want to cut right through the sidewall and then rotate your arrow in. It'll give you the cleanest cut, and if you just kind of try to cut it all at once and not spin your arrow into it, you're going to have an uneven cut, and then that's going to be hell when you try to fine tune later because your broadhead or field point isn't directly in line with the center of the arrow, and it's just a bunch of bad stuff. So we'll cut these real quick. That's how simple it is to cut your arrows. So clean these guys up. 1, 2, 6. Okay. So there's the end of the first step, cutting arrows. And we got that out of the way. We're gonna move on to the second step. So the next step in this process that I do is gluing your insert. There we go. Gluing your inserts in. Of course, I'm shooting GoldTip Hunter XTs and 340 spine. So I've got GT Knox, GT inserts, everything. So the way I do it, I'll take a field tip and I'll screw it on. I use Fletch glue, haven't had any issues with it coming off. It's just as strong. So I'm going to put it all over the bottom. I'm going to take it. As I put it on the arrow, I'm going to rotate. Rotate all the way up. Give some love taps. So ready to rock and roll. And just let that dry. So I'm gonna do the rest of these up real quick. We'll probably do like a sped up thing here. Get the rest of these in. Move on to the next step. Voila! All my inserts are glued in. So make sure you let these fully dry before you try shooting an arrow, please. Because your arrow's going to go in, you're going to pull it out, and you're going to pull an insert right out. Like if I went out and tried to shoot these arrows, they would it wouldn't work too well. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my arrow wraps. So these arrow wraps are from White River Archery or White Water Archery. I'll look that up real quick, hold on. Okay, it's White Water Archery. That's where I got these wraps from. I really like them. When you go onto the website or their Amazon store, you choose the exact size you want and they get them out to you relatively quick, which I like. So I'm going to pop all my nocks out so I can line it up with the edge of my arrow. I'll kind of get the camera repositioned and I'll get like a really good overhead view so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, so this next step is going to be applying your arrow wraps. This step's optional. If you guys don't want arrow wraps, you don't have to. You can just skip over this section of the build if you guys are following along. Or if you guys are watching to see how I build my arrows, continue then. So I've got this this foam mat. It's a thin mouse pad material. My company sells these as teardown mats. But I know you can actually get ones from Whitewater that have all of the arrow building stuff printed onto theirs. I just have some that were left over from mess ups. And make sure your orientation is correct. So stars in the back. And what we're gonna do, try to center this up for you guys. Get as close as possible. I'm going to line the arrow up as best as I possibly can with the rear of the arrow and along the side. And you want to make sure you have some sort of material that has a little bit of give to it, like this, or just a normal mouse pad, because you're going to want to firmly press down and then roll through it, just like that. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. That is all you need to do to get an arrow wrap on. Now I'm going to pop the knockback back in. Look at that. Ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to get the other 5 on, and we will move on to actually fletching my arrows up. Okay, now that we got my arrow wraps on, we're going to go to fletching these bad boys. So what I got here is a Boeing tower jig. Tower jig. I do have the box. It's that triple tower fletching jig. This is what I'll be fletching with. If you guys want a how-to video or a review video, let me know down in the comments, and I'll make a review video on this guy. But I'll just give you guys a real quick down and dirty on how to actually do this. So these are my colors. I'm going, of course, black and green. That's what my entire setup is. And then an American flag, because America. This is my cock vane. Got an American flag here, American flag there, American flag underneath. Very patriotic. Served for 8 years, so I got to keep it America, right? So all you do is shove these in here. Make sure they're all the way down at the bottom. Slide this over the correct adapter for whichever size arrow you're using. Using standard arrows. Well, what I'm going to make sure is that all of these are at the same height. So I'm going to get down level with it, check them all. Make sure they're all riding the same height. And then we're going to glue. As you fletch more and more, I don't know if I'm in your guys' way, you'll kind of figure out how much glue is enough. The glue ever come out of this tube? There we go. Ooh, it's really funky coming out of the bottle. Just tip off. Bring these up. Spin my arrow just a little bit. Take the collar. Squeeze them together. Put the collar on. And now you just follow the directions on your bottle. Clamp time 30 seconds, so I'm gonna leave it in there for 30 seconds. Actually, this here. So now that 30 seconds has elapsed, I'm gonna pop this collar off. Slowly, I'm gonna pull it away, and if I start to see one separate, I'll push the tower piece back up and basically reclamp. Didn't have an issue. Look at that. All fletched up. You can pop the knockback in. Look at that. But I will clean up the excess glue from around Q-tips are easier, air cleaners, whatever you guys call them. aluminum shop rag. There we go. So I'll fletch the rest of these guys up. We'll throw a fill point in here. And we'll see what my arrows weigh. So for this year, all my arrows are going to be the same. They're all built exactly the same. They all might have a little bit of difference weight-wise. It'll just be by a few grains. But let's see what the scale has to say of how much my arrows are weighing. Move the jig out of the way. Stick somewhere. So it looks like I'm shooting for the year about 400 grain arrows. So I'm shooting 27.5 inches, 27.5 inch draw at 70 pounds, shooting a 400 grain arrow. I wonder if I could calculate my FOC. I might do a complete FOC video down the road. But, yeah, let's pop this up and pan this way. So as put my camera up. As exciting as that video was, there's my build for 2022. I'll be flinging these at everything from Merriam turkeys out in Nebraska to Easterns in Iowa to coyotes, whitetail in Iowa, whitetail in Ohio, antelope in Nebraska, mule deer in Nebraska, possibly bear next spring in Idaho, and maybe wolf in Idaho as well. But I try to build a good arrow that I'll be able to shoot anything I want with. I do have access to like Easton 5mm, 5.5s. I'm not a fan of micro diameter arrows. I want an arrow with a little bit of meat to it. And that's why I went with these GoldTip Hunter XT 340s. I used to shoot the Hunters, and this year I went up a notch to the XTs, and then the year after, maybe I'll shoot these for a few years, and I might go up to the Pro. But anyway, if you guys have any questions about any specifics with my arrows, with my build, with the equipment used, put them down in the comments, and I'll try to get content out for you guys based on your questions. So as always, hunt smart, hunt safe. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you want more of 11 Bow Hunter, subscribe. And I'll see y'all in the next video.